On this accord, B1233 points to an open fault in the driver's air mix control motor circuit. In plain terms, the climate control unit may not be seeing the driver's temperature blend motor position correctly, so the driver's side temperature control can be inaccurate, stuck, or slow to respond. The possible fault areas are the motor circuit wiring, connector condition, the driver's air mix control motor itself, or the climate control unit. The diagnostic path is a plausibility check. First confirm the code, then prove the signal and common circuits. Check for a short between the reference and position signal, and only then judge the motor and control unit. Start by clearing the DTC with the HDS. Turn the ignition switch to lock 0, then back to on Roman 2, or use the engine start/stop button to go from OFF mode back to on mode. Run the self-diagnostic function with the HDS or the climate control unit, then check codes again. If B1233 or 40 comes right back, continue into circuit testing. If it does not come back, treat it as an intermittent failure, and check for loose wires or poor connections in the driver's air mix control motor circuit. With the ignition in lock 0 or the system in OFF mode, disconnect the climate control unit 32P connector and the driver's air mix control motor 7P connector. Check continuity on the AMDP-DR or AMDP line between climate control unit 32P connector No. 10. The GRY wire and driver's air mix control motor 7P connector No. 2. Also the GRY wire. You want continuity here. If continuity is present, that signal wire is not open and you move on. If there is no continuity, repair the open in the wire between the climate control unit and the driver's air mix control motor. Next, keep the same disconnected condition and check the sensor COM or SenseCom line. Check continuity between climate control unit 32P connector No. 22, the BLU wire and driver's air mix control motor 7P connector No. 1, the RED wire. Again, you want continuity. If continuity is present, the sensor common wire is not open and you continue. If there is no continuity, repair the open in the wire between the climate control unit and the driver's air mix control motor. Now check whether the S5V or S5V line is shorted to the AMDP-DR or AMDP line. With the ignition still in lock 0 or OFF mode and both connectors still disconnected, check continuity between climate control unit 32P connector No. 10, the GRY wire and climate control unit 32P connector No. 24, the BLK wire. This time, you do not want continuity. If there is continuity, repair the short in the wires between the climate control unit and the driver's air mix control motor. If there is no continuity, those two circuits are not shorted together, and the next step is to test the motor internally. With the climate control unit 32P connector and the driver's air mix control motor 7P connector still disconnected, measure resistance at the driver's air mix control motor between No. 1 and No. 3. This is the S5V to SenseCom check. The resistance should be 6K ohms plus or minus 1, 8K ohms. If it is within that value, continue to the sweep-style resistance check. If it is not 6K ohms plus or minus 1, 8K ohms, replace the driver's air mix control motor. For the next check, reconnect the driver's air mix control motor 7P connector, while the climate control unit 32P connector remains disconnected and the ignition is still in lock 0 or OFF mode. Apply battery power and ground to terminals A and B, then reverse the connections. Terminal A is climate control unit 32P connector No. 2, the P and K wire. Terminal B is climate control unit 32P connector No. 3, the LT-BLU wire. Be careful here. Applying power and ground incorrectly will damage the motor. Follow the terminal setup carefully, and when the motor stops running, disconnect battery power immediately. Then measure resistance between climate control unit 32P connector No. 10, the GRY wire and No. 24, the BLK wire. Resistance should change between about 0.6K ohms plus or minus 1, 8K omega. If it changes through that range, replace the climate control unit. If it does not change through that range, replace the driver's air mix control motor. Also remember that continuity between S5V and AMDPDR may disappear when the motor is turned to the stop, and normally the climate control unit does not drive the motor all the way to the stop. After the circuit repair or supported component replacement, clear the code and use the same self-diagnostic check to confirm B1233 stays gone. The key on this one is not to jump straight to the motor. Prove the two open circuit checks, prove the short check, then use the two resistance checks to separate a motor fault from a climate control unit fault. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.